I haven't the faintest idea why I agreed to this.
So, let's talk about some Star Wars. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to my home. It's small as fuck, but yes you can help make my home bigger by hitting the subscribe button and dropping a like. You do that, we cool. Let's get on with the video. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. Been that way since I was a little itty bitty youngling.
I'm gonna die! I'm gonna fucking die!
I love the original trilogy, I love the prequel trilogy, and to this day, Knights of the Old Republic 2 is one of my favorite Star Wars stories of all time.
To this day! To this day! To this day!
My relationship with Disney Star Wars, though, is a little bit more complicated than that, mainly because the most divisive subject to talk about in the Star Wars community these days, the sequel trilogy. There are things I love about this trilogy. There are things I hate about this trilogy.
How are you not dead?
I have no idea!
Oh! Give me a big fat break!
And there are things that make me think there's more to the story than people with NDAs are letting on.
Release the fucking
JJ.
Come, baby!
So, let's talk about that last one and we can get into the other two when I feel like turning my comment section into a motherfucking holy crusade.
Final question, and I'm just going to preface this by saying, don't use any words, okay? Just facial expression.
Okay.
What was your reaction to the end of the movie? But don't use words, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Conversation anyway.
The Rise of Skywalker is the final entry in the Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy, which you should probably know by now if you're in the Star Wars community, unless you've been living in an underground bunker all of 2020, which considering how this year has been going. That may be a good idea, but I'm not here to talk about any of those things. No. What I'm here to talk about is the best character in The Rise of Skywalker. So, let's talk about it.
Now, from what we just saw, what you just said on the panel, it seems like Finn has accepted his role as a resistance hero. Is that a lot more fun to play the confident, ass-kicking, name-taken Finn?
Yeah, but it's also fun to not play that for 2 films, and then to have the fans weigh in on Finn and weigh in on the mystery of his future and his past. So that whole trajectory has been really, really cool for me to be a part of.
Speaking of his past, do we get more backstory on Finn? Does Finn ever get a surname? What's like?
Definitely get more information about all the individuals in the film through the dynamics and connections and new relationships. But yeah, I mean, you get to know a lot more about Finn, but a lot of it is about the growth and who he is internally, and some, few shock moments. I can't reveal nothing.
I would say, out of all the sequel trilogy films, including Colin Trevorrow's unproduced Duel of the Fates, The Rise of Skywalker does the best job of making you believe Finn was a soldier trained for most of his life, while treating the character with more respect than the weaker moments of The Force Awakens.
Stop it! I'm in charge. I'm in charge now, Phasma. I'm in charge. Bring it down.
And a good deal of The Last Jedi.
You're a selfish traitor. I saved you. That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate.
I can't watch anymore.
Finn in this dynamic trio, he is in the middle of most of the squabbles and loves Rey, loves Poe, has a different dynamic in terms of relationships between both of them. But they all get in on each other's nerves like any friend, but they love each other. But between Rey and Finn specifically, they've shared something so beautiful and so intimate.
On the ocean moon of Endor, not to be confused with the Force moon of Endor with the murder Care Bears who will 100%ly eat your ass. Finn meets Janna, a former stormtrooper whose backstory is very similar to Finn's own.
We were conscripted as kids, all of us. I was TZ-1719, stormtrooper.
FN-2187.
You?
Give me your attention, baby.
I never knew there were more.
Deserters. All of us here were stormtroopers. We mutinied at the Battle of Enset Island. They told us to fire on civilians. We wouldn't do it. We laid our weapons down.
All of you?
The whole company. I don't even know how it happened. It wasn't a decision, really. It was like...
An instinct. A feeling.
a feeling.
The Force. The Force brought me here. Brought me to Rey and Poe.
You say that like you're sure it's real.
It's real. I wasn't sure then, but I am now.
After The Force Awakens and after The Last Jedi, I would go back and read this novel called Before the Awakening. Before the Awakening was a story that took place before the events of TFA and showed off the lives of Rey, Finn, and Poe. And if there's something that stood out to me in this book, it was how mature and nuanced it treated the characters, especially Finn. Finn came off exactly as he was advertised in TFA.
I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for.
A soldier struggling with the concept of serving the First Order. A loner who couldn't relate to his own fellow stormtroopers, and someone who wanted to do the right thing, but trapped in a situation where the right thing meant killing civilians. I feel like this message was lost in The Last Jedi, mostly because it wasn't brought up at all, and The Force Awakens for some made it rather unclear because an important scene involving Finn was cut from the theatrical release of the film. Some people thought Finn saying he wasn't going to kill for the First Order meant that he was against violence, but putting that one deleted scene back in The Force Awakens shows that Finn was against the senseless murder of civilians, and that's why he didn't want to be a part of the First Order. Does it still cause a moral dilemma with him killing stormtroopers who are in the same situation that he was in? Yes, but it creates a reasonable excuse as to why. They won't hesitate to kill Finn, so he can't hesitate to kill them.
So headed into Rise of Skywalker, I feel like we all want to know more about Finn, about his backstory. Are we going to get the payoff?
We're going to get bits. We're going to get little sprinkles like chocolate chips. But what we have to deal with right now is this new enemy. And why is Rey dressed like that? I mean, who decided her wardrobe?
Right?
Yeah, loads of questions, and Finn is fully involved in that, which is great.
So he's playing with light and dark as well, or is that?
I mean, you know, he likes to turn on the light and turn it off. It depends on the day, but read into that how you will.
The scene between Janna and Finn also gives some world building through Janna and her people, which not all of them are names, but I looked them up in the visual dictionary because I love you guys. It's strongly implied that Janna and her group are force sensitive as well due to them having the same feeling, the same instinct as Finn.
They figured out what we're doing. Call off the ground invasion.
Wait.
nav signal's coming from that command ship. That's our drop zone.
How do you know?
A feeling.
Trust in the Force. It's something that has been said throughout the franchise, but this was the first time Finn has acknowledged a connection to it while addressing the events of The Force Awakens, something that some people had written off as a red herring. This comes into play later when Finn leads his fellow renegade stormtroopers on an assault that kills General Pride and destroys the fleet of the Final Order.
I definitely wanted Finn to eventually find his place, to have a team that he's fighting for, that he's rooting for. I wanted Finn to show blatant strength and not to have his strength always questioned when he's stood opposite any other character, which is something that JJ pushed as well. And for just to show him in a light that shows growth and more of an understanding of his world, of the people in it, of his past, emotionally at a better place than he was during The Force Awakens. And that's, I think, JJ's, just reading the scripts, he's just ticking boxes, hitting the nail on the head with these scenes, being able to do that and be able to explore more about Finn.
The Rise of Skywalker actually goes out of its way to depict Finn as respectful and not as comic relief.
Finn, shh.
I knew it!
No, you did not.
You have no idea what she's fighting. And you do?
Yeah, I do. And so does Leia.
Well, I'm not Leia. That's for damn sure.
While also making sure his arc in the film is very personal to him.
We're all in this. Till the end.
Leia never gave up. And neither will we. We're gonna show them we're not afraid.
They've taken enough of us. Now we take the war to them.
So why is it that out of all these things I talked about, the only thing people remember from Finn in The Rise of Skywalker is him saying, well, the truth is that Finn's arc in The Rise of Skywalker looks good on paper, but in the film itself it's broken. There is a lot of character growth for Finn in The Rise of Skywalker, yet almost no character development. And in no better way is that shown off than with Finn's relationship with the other characters and his connection to the Force.
Rey! Rey, I never told you Rey!
Finn and Rey's relationship is probably the biggest thing that sticks out to many.
So what was it?
What?
What you were going to tell me?
When?
When you were sinking in the sand, you said, I never told you.
I'll tell you later.
What were you going to tell Rey before?
Still on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, is this a bad time? Sort of is.
There are many moments throughout the film that showcases how close these two have become over the trilogy, even going as far as to establish that Finn feels Rey dying, just as Leia felt Han dying in The Force Awakens. Since The Rise of Skywalker has come out, we have learned a great deal of what was cut from Finn's arc in The Rise of Skywalker. These are the three main things.
Do we look alike?
You both black.
Finn would have found his sibling in Episode 9. On October 16th, a new idea was shared with the art department, a garbage planet echoing Rey's home planet of Jakku, inhabited by First Order rejects, possibly prisoners who were not up to being stormtroopers. There, Finn might find a sibling and learn of a weakness in the First Order's technology. This quote from the Rise of Skywalker art book also lines up to what Jedi Paxis being the most credible leaker in the Star Wars community right now, said about Jenna. He once said that Jenna was supposed to be Finn's sister in one of his first Reddit plot leaks about the Rise of Skywalker. This also fits in line with John Boyega and J.J. Abrams saying we'd learn more of Finn's background in the Rise of Skywalker.
What can you tease about the upcoming film and the fate of your character?
I just think that in this movie that, the past 2 movies, 7 and 8, Finn hasn't really had a position and a place to be and something to fight for, and now he's decided that he's definitely a resistance hero, and we're going to explore more about that and more about his past and where he actually came from.
Finn's relationship with Rey would have developed further and them ending up together. Jedi Paxis said this: "I would have liked a resolution to what Finn was trying to tell Rey the whole movie, but they chose to leave it ambiguous. I'm told there was an ending shot where the entire crew was on Tatooine, and the payoff to that plot thread was Finn and Rey holding hands, but that was obviously thrown out somewhere in the production process." Now, all I will say to this is, like all leaks, take it with a grain of salt, but Jedi Paxis was right about a lot of things before, so I don't see him lying about this personally. Finn being force sensitive had been more explicit.
It's Ren. I was excited when I read the script. I actually read it and I stopped, and then I went to have a conversation with JJ and I was like, "Thank you, man. Like, I've been waiting for this, so I can't wait for you guys to see what happens."
And for that, I'm going to point to this interview that John Boyega did a couple months ago.
Didn't end up getting to say it. Are we meant to believe that Finn is a Jedi, or is it an implication that that there are more force sensitive people out there than we realize?
Yeah, I don't know specifically because I don't know specifically if he is a Jedi. It just seems to me so much of Finn's life is a mystery in that sense. But I think definitely the main thing is that he's definitely force sensitive and was always strong in the force for a long time.
Vindication!
The previous draft, it was actually a conversation between Rey and Finn. They actually talked it out. There was a scene where Rey already knew, like he had stopped her in the Falcon and was gonna let her know that he had the force. He had felt it ever since he left the First Order. Like that energy, that was the motivating factor, and he's known it for a very long time. And Rey, in that scene, Rey stopped him and said, "Finn, I knew for a long time, like since the moment I met you, that you were strong with the force. I knew there was something about you." Maybe that would be, I don't even know if that's in the, did we even film? Yeah, we did film that.
Oh, so did you guys shoot that?
Yeah, I think we did. I can't remember. I think we did. But it was definitely like it was on the script, where there was a conversation and Rey had already kind of knew. But I guess maybe in chopping down time, getting straight to the point and how it goes, that was the way they decided to go with.
As well as these social media posts. And recently there was this storyboard revealed with an unknown character with a lightsaber. Now, I don't know for a fact this is Finn, so don't call me on it if it turns out it's not, but personally, this looks like Finn and it matches the concept art of Finn in The Rise of Skywalker. Finn's arc could have been about him coming into his own as a hero, finding a family that, in his own words, he thought he would never know. His relationship with Rey being tested, yet the pair coming to understand their feelings for each other and embracing the Force in a way we've never seen Finn do before. But that's not what it is. At least, that's not how it comes across to many people. Looking back on The Rise of Skywalker, you can see John Boyega's enthusiasm go from larger than life to slowly becoming distant as time went on.
It went down yesterday at Bad Robot. I went down to go see it. There's a lot to take in. I think there's a reason I was like excited about telling everybody about going in, but now I've seen it and I'm coming out and like, you know what, let me just keep my mouth shut because I just want the audience to see it.
Be that because of the multiple rewrites co-writer Chris Terrio has spoken on, or the extensive reshoots that the film had undergone. And before someone says in the comment section about someone under an NDA saying that no, reshoots were
brief, if anything.
How did that go last time someone said that about a movie?
The god is dead.
What's it been like being a part of this universe, bringing this new element into Star Wars?
It's been cool because, I realized 2 movies down that the whole reason why they had me take this part was because there must have been something that I did in the audition that portrayed this character to them in a way that was, you know, it was cool, it was interesting. And to have that as something to make you confident, for me, I just feel like I appreciate all of it. Like I really feel like I'm connected to this role, I'm connected to this person. And to see him go, I'm a bit sad, but things must move on.
Did John Boyega and Finn deserve better?
You're goddamn right.
I'm a big fan of Star Wars, but I'm not just gonna ignore John's words of being frustrated and his own treatment because I love Star Wars. That being said, saying that all Finn did in The Rise of Skywalker was scream Rey is a great disservice to the character and the actor. Finn's arc in The Rise of Skywalker is far from perfect, but the reason behind that isn't what it does. It's what was taken out of the film. Context matters. Words matter. Finn's arc in The Rise of Skywalker, even as broken as it is, still tries to tell a story personal to Finn, his personality, and his prior actions throughout the trilogy. And even if it fell short of hitting the mark, I still think it's worth more than being reduced to a meme. And who knows, maybe one day, somehow,
Palpatine returned.
I swear to God, Poe. I swear to fucking God. Well, my friends, it looks like our time is at an end. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and share the video around. It helps the channel out, and it really helps me out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section and what you would like to see next.